Back to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Justin Stoddard. Today, we're going to talk all about leverage. If there's one thing that I know about the life of a real estate agent is that there's never enough time to do everything that they want to do. For newer agents, they feel a little bit different, right? They got lots of time, but they're short on funds. And I have with me today some very bright gentlemen who have created in what I believe is a game-changing tool to help real estate agents and brokerages thrive in this new economy. So before I get into that, I want to remind you at thinkbigger.realestate, you can go there and get weekly updates as to what's happening on the show, get show notes, links, etc. So be sure and go sign up for that. Moving forward, let's introduce the first guest. I'm going to have two gentlemen that are going to come on to describe this amazing tool called Broker Hive. The first is Lyndon Hanson. He's a top agent here in the Portland market. Has a great business, a great reputation. I've known him for years, and he's a smart guy. Lyndon, thanks for coming on the show today.
Justin, thank you for having me, and thank you for putting me in front of this arena. I really, really appreciate it, and being part of the forward-thinking community. Yeah,
you bet, man. You're a big thinker. You've proved that to me over the years of the way you do real estate, and you're proving it even now more so with this solution that you've come up with. You know, it's interesting as I've contemplated what you guys have created. I'm reminded of kind of the textbook of building a real estate business, right? The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Doesn't matter what brokerage I go into, everyone's quoting from this book. It's kind of like the Bible of real estate. If you want to have a business, not just sell homes, if you want to have a business, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent is the book that people reference to as. And there's a whole section here about leverage, right? The who, how, and what of real estate. And the authors of the book say leverage answers 3 questions in your business. Who is going to do it? People. How will they do it? Systems. Or what will they do it with? Tools. And the thing that I want to point out from this book here is that what Broker Hive, what you guys have created, Lyndon, is a massive tool for people to use in order to get more of their time back, be able to serve their clients at a higher level. Tell me a little bit how you came up with this idea of Broker Hive. Like, what is it? And tell us how you came up with it.
Yes. So it all started just 8 months ago when my fiance and I were headed to the hospital to deliver our second son. And I had so many appointments to book out that day and just so much to do that I was not able to get enough coverage. And bless my fiance's heart, I ended up having to go on tour the same day. So what I found was a major problem, that while we all have these busy careers, we all still have a life. And it comes to a point where we just shouldn't have to put up with something like that because we don't have the tools in place to be able to get the coverage we need to fill the bandwidth when we need it. So that's when we at Broker Hive got together and really tried to come up with the simplest form of a tool that we could come up with. So what we created is an agent-only platform which allows realtors to post and accept work for each other, which allows us the ability to be in multiple places at once. So we do that by delegating tasks to those with the available bandwidth, which acts as a productivity and scalability tool if you're a busier agent, which I happen to be a part of a productive team in the Portland area, and we do a large amount of business. And if you're a newer agent, it acts as a survival tool, right? If you come in and you don't know how you're going to pay your dues and your fees, then a tool like this where money is available to gain experience and earn a little bit of income while growing and sustaining your own business, what a great thing. And then at the office level, it's a recruiting tool as well. Because as you know, when you're in the industry, people always ask you what you're doing. So to be able to bring people in, some of these companies, such as Keller Williams, have profit sharing. So the more that we can recruit and bring into to our business, the better we can serve our own careers, I believe.
You know, really interesting. Some of the solutions that you guys are touching on here. You said a productivity and a scalability tool for the productive agents, right? For experienced agents. Mm-hmm. Not all real estate tasks that are essential to get done pay the same. Would you agree?
Correct. And one of the big terms that I'm sure you've heard a lot recently is revenue generating activities, right? Yeah. Dollar generating activities. So if your dollar per hour has reached a specific level, it makes sense to delegate specific tasks. And that's where the whole idea of teams come in, right? But I can tell you firsthand that I'm on a team, and a tool like this would still serve me really more than a few times a week, because we just have so much to do and we're trying to grow, right?
What are some of the most common tasks that you can delegate to other people? You know, essentially for those that haven't seen it, I've been privy to see the software, see it in action. And it almost has like an Uber-like interface. Like, it's super impressive. These guys have done a fantastic job. And it shows kind of where the task, like, so if I'm, let's say, a newer agent and I'm opening this app and I'm looking, I can see other brokers in my brokerage and specific jobs that they need to have done with different ways to get paid, right? Whether I'm bidding on, I'll do it for this much. Like, there's all kinds of different ways to structure that. I think that component of it is absolutely brilliant. What are some of the most frequent things that you see agents using this for? Some things that really productive agents shouldn't be doing.
Sure. I think open houses is the prime example, right? I mean, sometimes these last 2 to 3 hours, you have preparation, potentially door knocking, scripting, going around setting up signs, and the follow-up that comes with that, right? So if you're a productive agent, you could be talking about a full day spent on that one open house. So I think an open house would be an optimal way to use this. I think attending inspections, because those tend to be a long time. And as an agent, as long as we are thoroughly reviewing, we're in contact with the inspector, we get the full details, we can be good to go. Showing properties or touring, I think especially because being multiple places at once just allows you to be that much more productive, right? So some of these are going to be emergencies. Some of these are going to be jobs that are scheduled out and really thought out, right? So showing houses, I think, is very, very important as well. If I'm on the east side and I need to be on the west side with something else, then I quickly pop on there, delegate it, and it's done. I don't need to worry about it. We have tracking in place to send notifications. The payments, we have partnered with Square, so it's automated, and you don't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah, it's so slick. Again, kind of everything that you've described there is, and agents, especially here in the Portland market, I know there's a lot of busy marketplaces around the country that have a very similar experience where traffic is not good, right? Getting from the west side of Portland to the east side of Portland used to be 30 minutes, right? Now, depending upon the time of day, it can be several hours. And like you said, it limits your ability to serve people, right? Not only from a quality standpoint, but a quantity standpoint. You can only do so many appointments in a day when you've got to be navigating traffic. Whereas on the other side of town, there's another agent sitting over there wishing that they had a home to show, and you can delegate that, and everybody wins. Everybody wins.
You're supporting agents in your office. You're getting retention aspects on the office level. You're creating productive agents. And if you want to target specific tasks to gain specific experience, such as I want to learn about inspections because I'm a new agent, so I'm going to hit as many inspections as I can, or I really want to target learning the lead generation avenue of open houses. I'm going to do as many of those as I can. That's something you can do as well. I know that even from a productive agent standpoint, I want to use this tool to target work in specific neighborhood to try to learn more about those neighborhoods as much as I can. I think that would help my overall business.
Man, that's brilliant. I hadn't even thought about that, Lyndon. Is that you think of it simply from the terms of a productive agent of like, there's a whole bunch of things I should not be doing, and these other agents need money, therefore I'm willing to delegate it. But what you just opened up for me is that these newer agents, they're going to be a lot better served out doing 4 open houses in a weekend that they would not have been able to get had they tried just walking through their own office, right? Or 4 home inspections. You get up to speed really quickly. I always tell agents that one of the biggest challenges that I see agents facing when they get in the industry is that the biggest challenge is getting the customers. And because they have a hard time getting new customers when they're new, they don't ever get enough reps quick enough to actually become a good real estate agent. You don't get enough home inspections to get good at home inspections. You don't get enough open houses to get really good at open houses. You don't get enough of whatever, right? You name it.
Exactly.
And what I hear you saying is that you can really, as a new agent, hone in on a specific geographical area or a specific activity and say, I'm going to fill my day doing this thing until I've mastered it. And then I'm going to move on and I'm going to focus through Broker Hive doing another one of these activities until I master it. And really quickly, you can take a crash course with not just the book side of real estate, but the hands-on experience side of real estate and get yourself up to speed really quickly.
Very quickly. And when I first came into the industry, I can joke and laugh about it now, but my mentor on the real estate side, Bradley Wolf, who is just the most phenomenal agent and person I know, he used to put up these segments and these tasks and these jobs on the whiteboard. And we actually white-walled our whole room. We called it the war room. So you could write on the wall.
The war room.
And he would make me do these things repetitiously until they were done, right? So I would have to get them nailed in until I mastered it, and you would cross it off, I would move to the next one. So it's that same sort of aspect.
It's like boot camp for real estate agents, self-imposed boot camp, like
That's
Brad Wolf style. Like you're gonna do this until you get it right, until you master it, and then you're gonna be Daniel's son. You're gonna be a master. You're gonna be a Jedi.
That's it. And one of the important things to bring up too is right now, if I'm a new agent that's entering, who am I going to call if I want an open house, right? I may call my friends. My friends may not be under the same liability umbrella as me, right? They may not be under KW. They may be with RE/MAX. So right now, that is a big E&O. It's a concern, right? If you are somebody who's the compliance manager, the reviewing broker of the office, what you don't want to deal with is worst case scenario, somebody having something happen and you dealing with the he said, she said, or whose liability is going to deal with that. So what we've taken away is the concern about the liability being under different umbrellas. So we need this tool to be implemented at the office level. We would like it to be implemented at the office level, and then encouraged usage to make the most productive agents that we can. So we would just really love agents to request this with their office if that's something they feel would be a benefit. Yeah.
I think everybody that's listening to this, if you're a managing broker and have the ability to make the decision on this, you need to be saying, I need to meet with these guys and learn more about this, because it sounds like it could be a great option for my productive agents, for my newer agents, and even a small revenue stream for the brokerage, like total win-win-win all the way around. If you're an agent listening to this and you're not a managing broker and you don't make those decisions, it would behoove you to take this episode, share it with your managing broker and say, will you please look at this, brokerhive.com, and take a look at what this is going to do for our office. I think it would absolutely make a ton of sense for anybody, regardless of where you're at, right? You guys are not just limited to the Oregon market. You guys are national, correct?
That is the goal. And we currently have seeds planted in 5 or 6 states. We made a great trip to Vegas about 2 weeks ago now, and had some great discussions nationally with the brokerage. And the reception thus far locally has been more than incredible. So we really appreciate anybody who has reached out to us at this point and the feedback that they've given us, because also something that it's important to mention is that we're looking for early adopters. We're looking for partnerships so that we can get some of that feedback and solve as many pain-to-pain or agent-to-agent communication pain points that we possibly can within our industry, because what we're finding out is that there are more than one. So we're going to need more solutions. We have additional features that we'd like to roll out, but right now, keeping it simplified is really the goal. Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things that agents will probably be thinking about is like, well, I don't know who's on the other end of this, right? Like who's going to take my job? I'm going to delegate a job out. Someone's going to pick it up. They're going to be at my open house. How do I know this person? Well, you guys have implemented a review system, correct? Where you can agree to have that person do the job or not, correct?
That is correct. And this is actually a perfect segue for me to introduce you to who is behind the technicalities of this platform.
Love it.
And we'll have our CTO articulate how the peer-to-peer review system works.
I love it. Let's bring on. Hey, thank you, Lyndon. Love what you guys are doing. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, everybody listening, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Good stuff, man. All right, now let's introduce Josh Van Ikeren. Josh, did I butcher your name or did I do okay?
No, you did great.
I nailed it. I love it. Welcome to the Think Bigger Real Estate Show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're a big thinker, just like Lyndon, and you and Gabe are kind of the masterminds behind writing all the code for this and kind of creating the user interface, making Lyndon's idea come to fruition. True?
Yeah, absolutely. My brother and I have between us about 40 years of experience, basically solely in software startups. Back in the early 2000s, we created one of the first electronic laboratory notebooks for the pharmaceutical industry that essentially replaced the paper notebooks that scientists would use in the lab. And from there, this is about our 5th startup. And we have basically spent our career building enterprise software that is scalable and stable.
I love it. Then I've, as I mentioned earlier, I've seen your app. I've played with it, and it looks as good as Uber, right? I mean, it's really well done and very user friendly. I was impressed. You know, sometimes when things are kind of early stage, they ship before they look too pretty. You guys have done a great job of making this thing have a great, user interface, user experience. I'm impressed.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we spent a lot of time trying to make it as simple and user friendly as possible.
Talk to us through any other parts of like the technicalities that agents need to know, or maybe brokers need to understand as far as the implementation, right? I think we probably have people's interest peaked. If they're a new agent, right, and they don't have enough business, or if they're an experienced agent and they've got more tasks than they can fill in a day, or if you're a broker, I think that covers about everybody. We probably have their interest peaked. Tell us, what does it look like from the implementation standpoint?
From the implementation standpoint, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, once an organization decides to actually deploy a broker Hive, we simply set up the organization on our back end, and they appoint one or more administrators to essentially administer the onboarding process. The onboarding process is very straightforward. You simply provide a list of email addresses, and that's it. And then every agent whose email address gets entered receives an email with a link to complete the registration. And it's pretty straightforward registration. You essentially register with Square, so your name, address. You put a credit card on file with Square to be able to send money, and a bank account also on file with Square to be able to.
Looks like Josh dropped out for a second. Oh, he's back. There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Keep going.
Yeah. So the Android version will be out hopefully next week, and then we will offer some type of desktop solution that can be used on Mac and Windows by the end of October.
I love it. Great stuff. I'm impressed. Maybe talk agents through really quickly, kind of as we wrap up here. What is kind of your favorite functionality? Like what piece of it do you think is really a game changer for agents? I know you probably love all of it because you built it, and if you didn't love it, you fixed it to where you do love it. But if there's one thing that you're super proud of, what's a component of this that you feel like is really kind of game changing?
Sure. No, I understand. Essentially, the current solutions that are in place at these companies are basically email lists. And so people are constantly being bombarded with emails for jobs. And so I think that the part that we're most proud of Broker Hive is we've been able to change this metaphor to where people with time can basically go search for jobs.
Yeah.
And so they're able to just simply open up the app, go to search, and they get a listing of jobs ordered by distance, or they can go directly to a map view and see all of the available jobs, and they're able to filter that on the basis of distance or price or specific date.
It's true. The inbox has become a very cluttered place and not a very productive place, right? We go there because we have to go there.
Sure.
But if you had a very specific objective to either delegate work or to pick up work, obviously the app is perfect for that. People can be very focused on what it is that they're trying to accomplish and go in and get it done and get out, right? Without having to feed through their inbox and get distracted with all kinds of other things. So awesome functionality. Love what you guys have done.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask you this question, and if Lyndon wants to chime in as well, great. But it's the signature question of our show, which is this: you guys are big thinkers. I believe that every agent in America is going to know about Broker Hive. I really do. What you guys have built, or some variation of it. You guys were first to market, and I think that there's a lot to be said for that. And I'm confident with your abilities, you guys are going to stay on top. But there's, I think it's the future of helping agents continue to be true fiduciaries and to stay ahead of the curve of technology, leveraging technology as opposed to being leveraged by technology. So again, I love what you're doing. So where I was going with that is that you're a big thinker. What does a guy like you do to continue to be a big thinker? Teach us what it is, like how you continue to think big and expand your own possibilities.
That's a fantastic question. I mean, I think throughout all of the startups that we've done in the past, we're always looking at underserved niche industries. Mm-hmm. So these are markets that have money to spend, but are not being served by software. And so to be able to find that white space where you have a very specialized need and there's opportunity, I think just that's really the key thought process to being able to see where solutions like this are necessary.
It's great stuff. Being able to identify an underserved market and then be able to have the skill set like you guys have, right? The vision and the skill set to step in and create a big problem. Like there's a lot of people that sit around and be like, oh, we should invent this, we should invent that. In fact, I know in talking to Lyndon, there's a number of agents that have been like, shoot, I was going to create that years ago, right? But the fact that you guys saw the problem, created the solution, and moved on it, that's a great lesson that we can all learn from that, is that when we see a problem, either be the right guy to fix the problem or align with the right guys like Lyndon's done to get the problem solved and watch how your world gets big really quickly.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it really does come down to execution and being able to manage all aspects of building a software solution and a business to be able to put it all together.
I love it. Well, I will thank you, Josh, as well as Lyndon and Gabe, who's been in the background for what you guys have built. Again, I think it's a big solution for the real estate industry. I also want to thank you all for coming on the show today and contributing to the Think Bigger real estate audience. It's been my total pleasure to have you guys on here, and I look forward to seeing. I'm excited for you. Like I'm actually kind of giddy to see what happens and where this goes. And at some point in the future, maybe you'll come back on the show and tell me about all the huge successes you guys have had. That'd be awesome for all of us.
We would love that as well.
So good stuff. And one final request of the audience and for all of us is to go think bigger. Appreciate you guys. And thanks everybody for tuning in. We look forward to catching you on the next episode.
Justin, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.